Hey, wait a minute. I think I've written this all down before. Holly, you're going to love this. Because when I wrote the 21 Steps to Magnificent Living, they could be the 21 steps to magnificent management. So I'm going to give you a couple of these. You can pass out. 1, 2. And if I didn't get everybody.
One more.
Okay, here we go. So this is the game we're playing this evening. Follow along with me. I'm going to read the step, and I'm going to describe it, and together we're going to read the affirmation. The first one in 21 Steps to Magnificent Living, the very first step, be responsible. Your ability to respond. If I had once a supervisor who responded by screaming and yelling. But what it turned out to be in the office was everybody responded by screaming and yelling, and nothing ever got done. The way that you respond to the people that you're leading is the way that they will respond to you. Affirmation. No person, place, or thing has power over me. I realize that it's not what happens. Number 2, be faithful. You have to be faithful in whatever it is that you're trying to lead people to. Jim Jones, even though where he was going wasn't a good place, he was faithful about it. And that's why people followed. 45. Can't really understand why people follow, but they do. But that's the way that it is. But what is he? He's energetic. He grabs their attention, and he honestly believes the BS that he puts out. I know I wasn't supposed to do that. The affirmation is, whatever that higher power is to you. Number 3 is to be well. The best situations that I've ever been in working or volunteer situations is when the leader is fit and healthy and draws everybody else into a more fit, happy way of living. If your boss is fat and sloppy and lazy and comes in wearing whatever and walks into the office like this, after a while, you know what? You stop dressing up. You just like, what's the point? My leader's not going to see this because that's what she does. People follow their leader. Follow the leader. Be well. I love and respect.
A healthy body and treat it well.
Number 4, be wise. I've had so many supervisors in my life who were knowledgeable, but not wise. They could tell you everything about everything, but they didn't apply it themselves. And until you apply what you know, you only know, but you're not wise. Wisdom. Affirmation.
I learn something new every day. I trust the intelligence within me and use it wisely. If I do not know, I ask.
And I love that part. If I do not know, I ask. Because even the leader sometimes has to say, you know what? I don't know. I'll ask somebody. Be a dreamer. That's why people follow great leaders, because they have a big dream. If the person who you were following said, all I really want out of my life is just to lay on the beach and just watch the waves, come follow me. Only if you're an extremely lazy person would that be an attractive feature. I want a leader who makes me believe that I can go higher, that I can dream higher. When I came to Toastmasters, I didn't come here to lead. I came here to go out to dinner. But then I saw Kahu, and I said, I like the way this guy leads. I want to learn from that. And then I thought, I love the way he speaks. I want to speak like that. That's what leaders do. They draw you in because their dream is so big that they can't help but allow you to dream for yourself. Be honest was one of the other steps. You've got to be honest first with yourself. If you're running around with some lie that you're telling yourself, it only projects in every single thing that you do. Once Holly told me, go look at the man in the mirror. And we have to sometimes. Sometimes we just have to pause, go look at yourself in the mirror and say, hold on, what do I really think? Who am I really? What is my honest truth? And not only share that with you, it reverberates out to others. If you're a type of person who doesn't tell the truth very often, after a while, people stop believing what you have to say. Most intelligent people would stop following you. Some, maybe not. I guess we have two affirmations. Being a dreamer, affirmation.
I dream wide awake in color.
Be honest, affirmation.
I live a life based on and centered by truth.
Be optimistic. Nobody wants to follow someone who goes, well, I really don't know, but maybe we could try this tomorrow. It's not really going that well. You know, I have a lot of problems. My sister's sick. Nobody wants to follow that. Well, you want to run from that. When someone approaches me like that, I'm like, you know what? You got something that I don't want. And I keep moving. Be optimistic. Affirmation.
I speak and think positively. I always search for the benefit in the situation.
Be mindful. So often in our life, we see one thing, and we always compare it to something else that already happened in our experience. All black people love watermelon. But people believe that. For the longest time in my life, I wouldn't touch watermelon in public. Because every time I did, people would go, see, look, he loves that. So I wouldn't eat it. Guess that was a little off the topic. But sometimes we have to be mindful about the things that we say to other people, because we can be really sensitive about those things. And we all have things that we're sensitive about. So be mindful that when you speak to the other person, think from their shoes. Think when they come and they ask you a question, why did she ask me that? And reflect back, I understand where you're coming from. That's the empathy. Mindful.
I hear my inner voices, yet I am free in my response.
Be forgiving. I am hardest on myself. If I make a mistake, it might take me a whole 36 hours to get over it. I can't be that way with the people who I want to bring up and lead. If they make a mistake, I can't say, you know, I'm really mad at you, Elaine. I'm not going to speak to you for the next 36 hours. I just can't do it. Because that's not the way to lead. And when you realize that that's not the way to lead another person, you have to come to the reality that that's no way to lead yourself. And when you lead yourself in a proper manner, you teach people leadership by example. Leaders teach by example. Forgiving.
I have no need for resentment in my life.
Don't you love that one? I don't either. Be giving without giving yourself away. So often as leaders, we feel like, I just want to give. I want to give you everything I have. I want to give you. And then you go home and you're absolutely depleted. You have given yourself away. And then you no longer have anything left to give. One of my very favorite stories, the giving tree. The tree gave and gave and gave and gave until it had nothing left to give. Our parents do that. Christmas time. They don't have the money to buy the Christmas presents, so what do? They go out and they charge and they charge and they charge and they charge, and then they spend the rest of the year mad at you because they're behind on their bills. You shouldn't have given it to me if you didn't have it to give to me in the first place. Be giving, affirmation.
I am a thoughtful and cheerful giver, a caregiver, not a crush.
Be patient. Again, be patient with yourself, and then be patient with others. Nobody, person, place, or thing is perfect. Patience is key. First, again, with yourself. There are so many times I think to myself, I could have done so much more if, but you know what? Dust in the wind, it's over with. So let that go and move forward. And then teach that in your leadership. Be patient.
Everything that I need comes to me at the right time.
Be childlike. I love being like a child because it brings fun into the room. Anywhere I go, I try to at least invoke one smile from everybody in the room if I can. Because I believe that everybody wants to be happy. Don't you want to smile? Don't you want to be happy? Don't you want the person who leads you to be happy and tell you you should be happy? We should be happy. Be childlike.
I am a child. I embrace your inner child with love.
Be creative. Being creative is the reality that not everybody creates on the same level. What Holly creates may be nothing like what I create. So as a leader, I have to realize that this is what Holly creates and this is really great. This is what Dana creates and this is what Elaine creates. And then bring them all into it and go, if we all come together, we can create the bigger picture. Don't be afraid to share the bigger picture. Pull people in and have them be creative with you. Be creative.
I must be crazy. I constantly challenge my knowledge with the unknown.
Be loving. Did you ever work for somebody who hated their job? Only me. One of my very first work experiences, I worked for the public gas and electric company. And I had a supervisor. Her name was Jenny Ocurio. Jenny was a Nicaraguan princess. She came in 3 days a week when she felt like it, never on time. She would sit in her office and paint her lips on. And her hair was in a perfect bun, pulled all the way back. And she would never look at you when she talked. She would just keep painting her lips. That office was chaos. Nobody worked. Because they figured if she didn't work, why do I have to work? Her example was you could come whenever you feel like it, do whatever you want, and you still get paid. And that's what everybody did. And back in those days, they had affirmative action, so people weren't afraid of getting fired. You took a whole lot to fire somebody back in the 80s. So people learn, again, by your example. Be loving. Love what you're doing. Affirmation.
My love is limitless and without condition.
Be courageous. Don't look at risk as a 4-letter word. Where would we be in our lives if we never took a chance? As leaders, we have to take chances, or we will never be better leaders. We have to take chances on bringing in followers and saying, you know what, Elaine, I'm going to trust you on that. Mandy, I think that you really can do this. I know you could be a Toastmaster. Have the courage to step over your last accomplishment. Be courageous. Affirmation.
I trust myself, and I know that risk and fear are not 4-letter words.
Be action-oriented. Say what you're going to do and do what you're going to say. Period. If I tell Michelle tomorrow I'm going to have garbage bags, tomorrow I'm going to have garbage bags. Period. When people know that if I tell you something, and you talked about that lightly, if I tell you I'm going to do that for you, I'm going to do that for you. When people know they can trust me, then they give themselves to me and allow me to trust them. When they see you in action, what does it make them do? Go into action. Action-oriented affirmation.
Do what needs to be done without pause. I am endure.
Be prepared. Would you have liked it if I came in and I was going like this? I know I have it here somewhere. This is what I wanted to present to you. But no. This is, have you ever been to a meeting like that? And you think, why did I come in the first place? Be prepared for whatever message you want to give. If you ask me for an hour of my time, give me an hour's worth of information. Don't let me watch you be unprepared and have to suffer through that. The reverberation of that, if you can be unprepared, why do I have to be prepared? Be a prepared leader. Affirmation.
I'm ready for the opportunity of today.
Be successful. teach success by being success. And it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be anything more than what you feel in your spirit, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk. If I feel good and I feel successful, everybody in my realm, as they follow along, they're going to have their chest up. If I feel defeated, like we've been walking up this hill for 45 minutes and we ain't got nowhere, nobody wants to follow that. Be prepared.
I am ready for the opportunity of today.
Okay. Be successful.
I am a winner. I see success all around me.
Be a winner. Be ready to be a winner. Prepare yourself to be a winner. Because winners don't win by chance. Kahu did not win that competition because he was sitting home thinking, maybe I'll write a speech. That's not the way that it works. Winners work because they are prepared. Be persistent. When I was a little kid, my favorite book was Green Eggs and Ham. And only because the guy was so persistent. He was like, you're going to eat this green eggs and ham if it's the last thing I do. And as a little kid, I was pretty much like that myself. Like, if I wanted you to do something, like once I wanted a cat, oh my goodness, my parents were like, if you say cat one more time, I walked through the house like, I want a cat. I've had pictures of cats. I put cat pictures up on the refrigerator. I walked through the house talking about cats all the time. Finally, my parents said, here's the cat. Get out of my face. If you really want something in your life, you have got to be persistent. No one's going to hand you something when your hand isn't out. And the further your hand is outstretched, the easier it is to get to. Be persistent.
If at first I do not succeed, I try again.
Be yourself. Nobody likes a phony. We all can pick up the energy from a phony. When you're around phony energy, what do you give back in response? Do you give back an honest response? If I come up to you and say, oh, Dana, I love your sweater, but the look on my face looks like, girl, what do you have on? You know, that's not honest. It's not the way you're supposed to relate to other people. You've got to be yourself, and you've got to allow other people to be themselves. Accept people for who they are. Management is all about learning how to manage people by their individual personality. I had to learn that the hard way. I went from working in Gold's Gym, where I worked with really tough, steroid-fueled, crazy men who swore, yelled, screamed, spit, and that's the way they acted. And no one said thank you, no one said anything. They just got through the day. And so I patiently worked with them, got through the day, but there wasn't a whole lot of thank you. When I changed from the gym business to the wellness business, all of a sudden I had massage therapists and yoga instructors, and they need, you did such a good job today. Your hair looks so nice. It's so nice that you're on time all of the time. They need stroked all of the time. When I first opened the wellness studio, there was a little rumor about me that I just didn't really care about the other instructors. And somebody brought that to me, and I thought, are you kidding me? You're my favorite people. But they said, well, you don't treat us like that. And you never say anything back. A great leader knows that the most important thing for a person who follows is reward. Reward them. Whether it's with something verbal, a little gift. Oh, look, I went on vacation and I brought you something back. People always remember that. Be yourself.
I love and accept myself as is. I know that unless I accept my flaws, I will surely doubt my virtues.
Be your personal best. All the time, at all times, knowing that every day is different. Some days my personal best is just not as good as my personal best was the day before. Last week I worked 21 days in a row. And I came in and I told Michelle, oh, my back is hurting. And this morning I told her, oh, I had to take a mental health day yesterday and just take the whole day off. And she said, how long do you think you can work for 7 days a week? But it's true. I wasn't respecting and responding to even how my body was telling me that I felt. So I wasn't my personal best. I was trying to be my personal best for everybody else. You got to be personal best for yourself first. When you're dragging, people see it. Be your personal best. My last exercise that I would like to do with you this evening is I'd like you to stand up. In life, we are very good about telling ourselves what we did wrong, how we look wrong, how much weight we gained, how I don't like this shirt. Every morning, when I get out of the shower, I do this exercise. I look in the mirror and I raise my hand overhead, so let's come with me, and I say, "You are magnificent."
You are magnificent.
And then I bring my hands down and I say, "You are powerful. You are powerful." Get with me. You are magnificent. You are powerful. Now find a friend, because so often in life we forget to empower each other. I want to get everyone on camera. Go ahead. I just want to make sure I get everybody.
You are magnificent. You are magnificent. You are powerful. You are powerful.
So in closing, before you bring your ukulele up here, so in closing, my belief is great leaders aren't born leaders, they may be born to be leaders. So what I say to John Maxwell's quote is, a leader is one who knows the way, who grows the way, and then shows the way. Thank you. Thank you.